Good morning, Dr. Gary here on the road, coming up on Valentine's Day. We are dental brokers nationwide, and we've been doing this for 13 years. Today's topic is going to be what I'm often asked by buyers and sellers. Why are we different? Or what makes us different as dental brokers nationwide, and how it helps you? It's often a question I'm asked, so I think I'd like to address how we can help you as a seller or a buyer. I mean, first and foremost, I'm enthusiastic about this business. I really enjoy this business. It's very satisfying to me to see a successful seller that can go off into some level of retirement, and a buyer that's initiating maybe their first time in business. So that's exciting. We're going to get into that. But before we do, as you know, we're now in 28 states. We have 10 employees, including 2 CPA accountants. I've been doing this for 13 years now. I was a dentist for 25 years. And we're available to you 363 days a year. We take off Christmas and Easter. The phones are always answered. Our contact information is 201-663-0935. And our email address or our website is dentalpracticeguide.com or nationwidedentalpracticebrokers.com. So you can always get a lot of valuable information there. Obviously, the information I'm telling you today is for entertainment purposes. It's our opinions. It is not legal or business advice. Now, if you're thinking about selling to a DSO, we often partner up with them in the sense that we'll decide what DSO we think is the best for you. We're not a strategic partner with anybody. I don't go for that, because you have to be able to change and shift each year. One DSO who's great in one year could be in trouble next year, or could be difficult to deal with, or changes their management. So we work with them, and they will pay our commission often, no commission to the seller often. And if you work with us, and depending on criteria, I can often get your legal fees reimbursed upon successful closing. We've done this a number of times. It'll make everything easier for you and reduce your expenses. So let's get into it. What makes us different, and how does it benefit you? Well, first of all, I'm enthusiastic about what I do. Not only a dental broker for 13 years, I was a dentist for 25. I think I understand the business. I was in your shoes as a seller and or buyer. And that's why I got into the business. I wasn't pleased with the level of service I got from the other brokers. They would never even come visit my practice, some of them. I mean, I don't know how they could tell about me or my practice by specifically a balance sheet or cash flow. So they never showed the practice. They never came to visit at least once to see what I have to offer. And I think that's important. If you're going to sell someone's dental office or promote an office to a buyer, you've got to know what you're selling. You've got to be enthusiastic about it. It has to be something special. It has to be something that, this doctor's worked all his life in that practice. What does he have to offer, or she have to offer? And how can it benefit the buyer? And why, and sometimes is it worth it to pay maybe a little above the norm just to get a great practice? So we are enthusiastic what we do. We find out everything about the practice, his staff, what makes them different, and try to share that out. Now, don't forget, we do a significant amount of advertising, too, when we sell a practice. We just don't sit back and do a listing. It goes on all over the place. It's on Dentaltown, it's on Craigslist, it's on our internet site. We have 238 YouTube videos. It is, the word is spread, but where the big difference is, over the last 13 years, we've accumulated true buyers. These aren't just like from some list I bought somewhere. These are my buyers that I've dealt with, talked to, got the non-disclosure agreement, had them pre-approved with the bank. I know who my buyers are. So when I come to selling a practice, first one I go to is my buyers of record, people I know. I think we're over 760, I think, over the last 13 years and present. So we have a pool of buyers ready and willing to go, and we know a lot about the buyers. So, and my experience as a dentist, 26 years as a dentist, I mean, I think I have a lot to share. I can understand what you as the buyer are looking for, and you as the seller, what you're selling. Now, as I mentioned, we spend a significant amount of time, energy, and money on advertising. We want to promote your practice. We're not just throwing it on a website and just hope for the best. We're going to promote it. We're going to be enthusiastic about your practice. Okay? Every single buyer has signed a non-disclosure agreement and has been pre-approved by one and sometimes two banks. Not just any banks. These are dental banks that know what they're doing. And when they tell me a buyer's pre-approved, you can be pretty comfortable that he's going to get that loan or she is going to get that loan, Of course, I have a great staff now. We have 10 employees and those two CPA accountants. Most of the other brokers don't have that kind of team. It's expensive to keep them going, but I need a team and I need CPA accountants. You've got to understand everything about that seller's practice, all the add backs, everything. And you've got to increase that seller's true profitability. That's very important. You've got to identify every single area of discretionary expenses. Because if not, the profit's going to be lower. You've got to make the bank aware of it and the DSO if we're selling to a DSO. So, also, we attempt, through my experience, to get the right buyer. I'm just not going to sell to somebody I think is going to be a headache. Because I get a lot of repeat business now. I've been doing this 13 years. The last thing I want is a disgruntled seller or a buyer that's going to be buying another practice. I don't want that. They come back to us because they know we deliver. We're available. You call, I'm on it. It's every day except Christmas and Easter. And if I'm cruising somewhere, my staff takes the phone, and I remember I was on a cruise ship in the South Pacific. Hey, I was checking emails twice a day, even though there was like 10-hour time difference. I was checking emails still twice a day. My staff had the phones. So, we were all over this when I do travel. Now, we have 200, as of today, we have 238 YouTube videos. Those videos are going to give you a, so to speak, cop on the beat information, news reporter from the front lines of a war zone. We're telling you like it is. What happened today? All right? If you want one of these glamorous studios with the plants and the flowers and the suits and the special lighting, I mean, go ahead, go grab those. We're too busy. We don't have time to run into a studio to tell you what just happened today. We're doing it from the car. This is what happened today. Okay? This is the crisis we hit today. And we're going to tell you, it's not a seamless transition. You will be successful. And it will work out great for the buyer and the seller. And we're all over it to make sure it happens. But we're used to dealing with chaos. We are used to problems every single day. And we have to be prepared for it. And we set the stage by having great professionals, which means great banks and great attorneys. We're going to recommend the best attorneys. The best attorneys that are going to take care of you. We get nothing from that, the attorneys. I just want to go to closing. But my attorneys that I may recommend, again, I don't have a strategic partner. This is attorneys all over the country we recommend. That attorney's going to watch your back. I got to make sure that the contract which you have, this is not some boilerplate contract. That contract, the dental contract, or known as the APA, Asset Purchase Agreement, is specifically designed for you. And every contract is different no matter what anybody tells you. All right? That attorney has his reputation, his liability. He has to protect you. It's not just you, but it's your estate in 20, 30, 40 years. If there's a problem, what happens? 8 years down the road. You go back to the contract. So you need a solid contract with has all the wording that should be there, not some cheapo contract that somebody copied from somebody else to save you a couple $1,000s. You don't want to do that. At the same time, we try to keep your expenses reasonable. All right. We know what it's like. We're in your shoes. We own dental offices. We sold 3 of them. I had to do it myself. The brokers were not helpful. I wish there was somebody like me back then, of course. Well, we do have fun. We do enjoy it. We are passionate about what we do. We're all over it. You just ask my clients. I'm all over it. We just had a closing not too long ago. I'm just thinking back a few months, and we had a problem first day after closing. The buyer made some huge mistakes that were going to jeopardize their future. They shouldn't have done that. But we went in, we talked to the buyer. This is what you've got to do to straighten this out. You don't want to lose patient confidence. And we know how to work with these DSOs. Remember that we're in the negotiating pit with them. We know what it's like. We see the deals going through. And we see the contracts where they try to slip in some clawback agreement that they can pull money out, even money that they paid as a down payment. If there's certain criteria and issues that aren't met, we know about these things. So we're not attorneys, but we're going to choose the attorney that will identify certain issues that are going to be a problem issue for you. We will bring that attorney who's going to do the best for you, who's going to be just like all over it. That's going to have a contract that's been written, rewritten, proven, reproven. I mean, that's what we do. We're behind you. We have your back, all right? Because I have to go meet somebody next week, and they said, tell me all about you. Tell me why you're different. What is it? We, of course, sent them to our website, but it was more than that. They had to meet me. They had to meet my team, my accountants, our operations directors, our marketing people, our development acquisition specialist people. We got a whole team for you, okay? This is not a mom and pop organization. We're on this, and it's like every day except Christmas and Easter. We have to be there, which means we're working every weekend. But we enjoy it. We have fun, too. But we have to be there. We have to answer your phone calls and take care of your problems, take care of the issues before the deal comes about, during the transaction of the deal, and after the deal. We are not going to disappear on you, whether you're a buyer or seller. And we're fortunate that the previous buyers are coming back to us again. It could be 12 years ago they bought a practice and ready for another. I sold practice to certain doctors, and then I am now reselling them because they're either moving out of the area or certain issues came up. They came right back to us, which I'm quite proud of. And my team has been with me for a long time. One accountant's worked with me for many years, even while I was a dentist. It's been like 29 years. Another CPA we had been with us 9 years. So anybody who works with us generally stays a long time. We treat them fairly, and we appreciate what they do because they're part of my team. I can't do this all myself. I don't know how you could do this without having a team behind it. So I have the team, I have the people, and we're there to help you to find you as a seller to get you the best opportunity, and as a buyer to provide you with a practice that you're going to be very successful at for many years. All right? So those are just a few of the tips. I hope I wasn't rambling on too long, but we appreciate you listening. Stay tuned. We have new information coming out soon, new practices coming out, new videos coming. So we got quite a bit of information. Great talking to you. Thank you so much.